In 2000, neuroscientist Karim Nader injected a single chemical into the amygdala of a rat, and a fear memory the animal had held for 72 hours simply ceased to exist. Not suppressed, erased, and cognitive scientists still cannot fully account for why the act of remembering a memory is chemically identical to the act of destroying it. Memory feels fixed. You trust it the way you trust a photograph, a static record, sitting exactly where you left it. Every detail you recall feels like retrieval, not construction. Retrieval, that certainty is foundational. Your past is yours. Your account of what happened is what happened. Nader wasn't trying to dismantle that. He was a researcher at NYU studying fear conditioning. The setup was simple. Train a rat to associate a tone with a mild shock, allow the memory to consolidate, test recall. What his data showed instead rewrote the science of memory entirely. The standard model was clear. Once a memory consolidates, once it's embedded in neural architecture, it's stable. You can retrieve it as many times as you want. The retrieval process doesn't alter the original. Nader's results said the opposite. Every time the rat was prompted to recall the fear memory, that memory became chemically unstable. It entered what researchers now call reconsolidation, a brief window where the memory must be physically rebuilt before it's stored again, not replayed. Rebuilt, he injected a protein synthesis inhibitor called anisomycin immediately after recall. The reconsolidation window closed. The rat's fear memory didn't degrade. It vanished, as if it had never formed. Every act of remembering is an act of reconstruction. The easy objection is that this is rat data. Artificially conditioned fear, isolated amygdala-controlled lab conditions. Real human memory is more complex, layered, linguistic, contextual. Our memories are nested in meaning, and meaning provides a kind of structural stability that a rat's conditioned reflex simply doesn't have. Human autobiographical recall, the argument goes, doesn't behave like a rat's fear response. The brain is not that fragile. It's a reasonable position. It didn't hold. Elizabeth Loftus had been running experiments on human subjects since 1974. In one of her most controlled studies, participants were given a detailed, false account of being lost in a shopping mall as a child, an event that had never happened. 25% not only accepted the memory, they elaborated, added sensory detail, described their own feelings in that moment. Their brains had reconstructed a false event using real emotional material and produced a memory they held with total confidence. Then in 2010, Elaine Brunnett at McGill gave PTSD patients propranolol, a beta blocker, before having them recall their trauma. The drug interfered with reconsolidation. The next day, the memory's emotional charge was measurably reduced. The content remained, but the memory had been altered. Here is what most neuroscientists won't state plainly. Every memory you currently hold has been reconsolidated dozens, possibly hundreds of times. Each retrieval is a reconstruction, and each reconstruction is shaped by your current emotional state, your current beliefs, your current knowledge of how the story ends. You remember a moment from your childhood and you feel warmth, but that warmth wasn't in the original encoding. It's being written into the memory right now, at the moment of recall, influenced by everything you felt since then. The 2019 work by Hupbach and colleagues demonstrated that memories formed in the same temporal window will contaminate each other. Details migrate between events, silently, without any subjective sense that the record has changed. You cannot distinguish a reconsolidated memory from an original one. There is no phenomenological difference. The memory feels true because, to your brain, it is true. It has simply been rewritten to match who you currently are, and it happens every time you remember. The field has proposed several frameworks to contain this. One model positions reconsolidation as an adaptive function. The brain intentionally updates memories to incorporate new information and improve future predictions. A feature, not a flaw. But that model breaks against a simple fact. Emotionally neutral memories reconsolidate at the same rate as traumatic ones. If the purpose is adaptive updating, why is your memory of an unremarkable Tuesday equally rewritable? Another argument holds that what Loftus documented is a weakness in poorly encoded memories. Only vague, lightly formed impressions are vulnerable to contamination. Loftus's lab then implanted detailed false memories of committing crimes in 35% of participants. Not impressions, full accounts, the police, the interrogation room, the specific fear. Participants believed them with the same conviction they applied to real events. Poorly encoded doesn't cover it. There is no version of you with access to your actual past. Every memory you trust has been rewritten, multiple times, by a brain that doesn't flag the edits. The question isn't whether your memories are accurate. The question is, accurate to what?